What is up, everybody? It's Friday afternoon, and that means another episode of Jiles McCoy Live, the spot for tech, hi-fi, and gaming. And this one is going to be all about the hi-fi. Today's episode 303, third of the season. And joining us this afternoon are Liz Smith and Mark Freed from Axpona. Welcome, folks. How are you?
Great to be here.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad the show is almost here as well. I mean, I love trade shows, I love conventions, I love two-channel shows, and this really is the one, right? I mean, this is pretty much the premier show for North America. At least it is in my heart. And I'm excited that I'll be there joining you this year. I think, though, while I think most people are very familiar with the event, there might be a few people that aren't. So I think to get everybody grounded and kind of on the same level playing field, maybe we can talk a little bit about who you guys are, and then what the show is all about. What exactly is an Axpona? Liz, how about you kick it off?
I'll kick it off. So I'm Liz Smith. I'm event director for the show. So I work to promote the show, get the word out. I program all the seminars for the show. I program concerts. I really kind of pull together all the details to make the show happen. And my partner on that is Mark. You want to introduce you?
So I'm the global sales guy. I actually talk to the brands, the suppliers from around the world. Do a lot of traveling to do that. There's we've gathered hundreds of brands. I mean, there's 199 listening rooms right now booked, and almost as many booths, between the record fair and the Expo Hall, and also the Ear Gear Experience. And I'm talking to all these brands, large and small, all the time, and they're coming. They're coming to Axpona.
That's amazing. So for those that haven't been to Axpona, I want to talk through what the experience is like. But I think first, so this is primarily a show for what kind of person? Who's the person that's coming here? What are they into? What are they looking for?
Really, it's for anyone who loves music, anyone who wants to hear, their favorite music in a high quality way. A lot of our attendees are audiophiles, just like, audio enthusiasts who come to the show year over year. But it's also, again, for anyone who wants to, listen and learn and compare. Just there's, like Mark was saying, there's hundreds and hundreds of brands out there. So if you're kind of curious about the world beyond what you might just find in like your neighborhood store, you can come to the show and learn about all different audio brands and all kinds of products.
Awesome. Now, Mark, you had mentioned that you said there are 199 listening rooms.
We have room for about 3 or 4 more, and then we're done. Yeah.
Okay, that is okay. So, as a person who loves this stuff, right? I geek out on it. I love, I love technology in general, but audio. And then theater stuff on the other side has a really, really important place in my heart. So when you get to go to a show like this and hear things, I mean, this is stuff that unless you're living in a large metropolitan area that has a lot of, upmarket retailers that specialize in this stuff, you don't get to hear these things in person, right? I mean, this is a special time.
And that's true. And, unfortunately with, the dealers that can't carry everything, and there maybe are less dealers than there used to be, the importance of Axpona and other shows like ours, it's really important because, if you're fortunate enough to be a person who loves music so much that you want to read about it, the only way you can probably experience it is at Axpona or a show like ours. So it really is. It's really an important thing. It's really an important an event for the manufacturers as well as the distributors and everybody, and the dealers, of course. For the path to purchase. But we've got something for every. I know the show's large. But really, there's something here for everybody. What I'm actually seeing as I'm thinking about this, certainly, the very high end loudspeakers like NBL and Wilson and others, will be there. But, we're noticing a trend of affordable excellence that's coming to the show as well.
Okay.
So really, I get really excited. Andrew Jones has a new source point, 10, those loudspeakers, that people.
Yeah, they're kind of cool with the little angle baffle in the front. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And, and they're affordable. I believe they're at the $4,000 mark or just below that. And then
is he doing those with MoFi?
He's doing this with MoFi.
Right on.
And there's, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I mean, even Von Schweikert, who has had, these giant loudspeakers, they're actually going a little smaller this year because they want to get into that affordable excellence realm as well. And I'm hearing good things about their loudspeakers, so that they'll be there. And cut me off anytime you want, but
no, this is what I really love. You're in it, right? Because it's this variety in being able to see stuff that's aspirational, right? Because I go there and I look at I never remember the name, but it's like the Wilson Super Chrono Master adjustable ones that are taller than I'm all like, oh, those are cool, right? One day, because I'll never have them, but. But they'll have 100 rooms that have stuff that I could absolutely have. Right.
Yeah, they're right. Exactly. And we actually encourage people to really look at our site. You could get the mobile app, certainly the event guide, and just kind of plan your day, and then serendipity strikes where you just go, oh, what's this? And you'll see there's this one company called, Treehouse Audio, and they've got these loudspeakers that are sculpted in wood. This guy makes them by hand. He's an automotive engineer, a designer rather, and he makes these loudspeakers by hand. And it's they blew me away. I mean, I saw them at another show. I saw them at Capital Audio Fest. Mm-hmm. I just stayed there. I just, when I'm supposed to move around. So they're going to be showing loudspeakers, they'll be at Axpona as well. So it's really pretty cool.
Yeah. I would say that from my point of view that, seeing the big brands, the ones that that's always great, right? And everybody will have a list of their 10 rooms that they have to go to, right? I've got to go see this because, I geek out on these brands. Right. But that serendipity that you talked about, when you find something that you have never heard of before, that can be magical.
It's amazing and that's what's so great about Axpona is that if you walk around, you never even read about this manufacturer, and this guy, he makes these, hand makes these things at home, and also listen, unless you go to, let's say, Munich, there's a company called Grimm Audio, and that room is packed in Munich. They've never done a show in the U.S. They'll be at Axpona.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lin Audio. You may have heard. They're an iconic brand. They haven't been in the U.S. It might be 20 years.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm getting it exactly right, but they told me. They said we haven't done a show in the U.S. in a very long time, so they'll be debuting products as well. And just like from today, even I was talking to, Fidelity Imports, there's a distributor. He's bringing, he's got 6 or 7 rooms. There's Deep Teak. I've never heard of them, but they've got Deep Teak. Yeah, they're from France. It sounds like Deep Teak. It's a world debut. They're doing it in the United States. You know what I mean? So I'm just impressed, that, they have Unison in another room. And I don't know if, Michelle is, it's an analog company. They've got tone arms and turntables. So, people are going to be seeing these things for the first time.
Right on. So when you say there are 199 listening rooms, Now let's dig into that for just a minute, because these are different listening rooms of all different sizes, right? So you've got everything from, well, tell me what you've got, because I assume that you've got everything from like just a regular little room, but to big ballrooms. What's that spread looking like this year?
Right. Well, there are standard listening rooms, like from of a hotel room, that where we take out the beds and furniture and things like that, and then they go to different kinds of sizes to their suites, to up to we have a bunch of 30 by 60
Wow.
rooms. I mean, really, really big rooms, that you could see, some of the big boys, and so some large loudspeakers. And some people actually take that room, they compartmentalize it, like Focal, will show sopas and others, and then they'll do some home theater, and they'll put walls up and things like that. And Dine Audio has one side of their room with their large loudspeakers, another side with some of the smaller reference type loudspeakers. And it just there's different uses of those rooms, but yeah, the big rooms are very interesting.
Yeah, you hit on two of my favorites there too, from kind of more of the larger, well-known brands.
Right.
Focal, oh man, that just such good stuff. And
Right.
Even from the larger brands where you feel like you might be familiar with them, it feels like there's always something new that you learn. When you have a chance to sit down and listen to these speakers, really, and give some time. So
Right.
it's super cool. Now,
Yeah.
outside of listening rooms at the show, there are other things that people can engage with, right, and enjoy. So what are some of the other features and attractions that people can expect to see while they're at Axpona?
So other like exhibit areas that we have the Expo Hall with also the record fair. So the Expo Hall really highlights a lot of accessories, kind of more of like your traditional like trade show booth area, but that's where you can find cables or cartridges. A lot of turntables are there. And then we have the record fair, which just has so many vendors of vinyl, like new and vintage vinyl, and like online dealers. We have some local folks from Chicago coming in. Mark, you said you were talking to a really cool company from
Yeah.
Chicago.
It's nice. Listen, we have the big guys, like the Acoustic Sounds and Music Direct and such. But there's a little record store coming called Record Wonderland, who is really excited because they've got some vintage records and rare records that they're just showcasing. And I'm impressed that they're there because they're also celebrating Record Store Day in their store. So,
Oh, nice.
they're bringing their specialty items to Axpona. So that's kind of interesting.
Okay, that's cool. And so you were talking about the exhibitors a bit, and there are going to be a number that are first timers at the show this time, right?
Yes.
So, and I know you called out Treehouse and I think Grimm, but are there any other standouts in your mind for folks that are maybe have been gone for a while that are back or are net new?
Well, I did mention the ones I mentioned are new. There's so many new exhibitors that I think what we should do is Liz, we're going to publish the first time exhibitors, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a press release coming out.
Yeah.
And it's there's so many. It's hard to list them all.
Right.
That makes sense. So if folks wanted to look at a list of exhibitors, is that going to be available on the website, or how might folks kind of prepare and figure out who they need to see?
Yeah, so they can visit our website. We have the exhibitor list is posted. And when you click on all the different company names, you can read a little description, learn about the company. If it's maybe like a dealer or a distributor, they'll also list the other brands that they have on display. And then there's to kind of help with planning and kind of make it, you can all make it like a little easier to find some special stuff that's going on. There's little icons, and you can see if they've like highlighted products or if they have like a show special or like a special feature in their room that you should, so you can kind of look at those icons to find stuff.
Oh, awesome. That's super cool. That makes it nice and easy. Now for people that this might be their first time coming to the show and they're not really familiar with the location. So what is it logistically like to visit? So what's the location? What are the dates? And, when are things kind of open and closed? So what is that looking like on how do I get there and how do I stay? And what is the day-to-day kind of like?
So the show is it's in Schaumburg, Illinois. So it's in the Chicago area. It's actually not that far from the airport. It's kind of like a 25-minute ride from O'Hare. So if you're from, the Chicago area or kind of like the surrounding states, you can drive in. If you're coming from somewhere else in the country, you can fly into O'Hare and be in that area.
And that's ORD, right?
Yes, ORD.
Got it.
Yeah, got to get your airport codes right. We're not downtown. I mean, if you're at Axpona for the weekend, you can definitely head downtown at some point. It's not, too far, but for us, it's great that we're out in that area because there's lots of parking. It's easy to get to get to other restaurants. There's just like hotels like around there. But the show is April 14th, 15th, and 16th. So it's about 6 weeks away. It runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The show officially opens at 10 each day, but folks generally start coming in around like 8:30, 9 o'clock to check in, get their badge. You get, I have like last year's book right here. You grab your event guide and start planning what you're going to see.
Yeah, I think I still have mine too. Yeah, here we go. Got to keep it close to heart.
Yeah.
Yes. Hold on to your event guides.
Yeah. No,
Liz will sign them for you.
Wow. That's it makes it a collector's item right there. Nice.
Right. She cooks up a good show.
Man, I feel kind of sad. I think I'll have to bring my old one and get it signed to turn it into a collector's item.
I can sign my letter for you.
Right. I just want to say, when people get their badges, when they finally come in and they get their badges, one of the great things to go to first as a warm up, and it's sure. I know people just go there anyway because that's what they want to see first, is the ear gear experience. I mean, you're going to see, the greatest personal listening, like almost anywhere. You'll from Sennheiser to Odyssey, and to folks that are out of Romania called Meza Audio, and and a local guy that actually makes them by hand, ZMF Audio. Zach is a great headphone manufacturer, and today we just got Campfire Audio in, coming in, from Oregon, and there's just so much, there in personal listening as well.
I think it's good to call that out, right? Because when people think audio, they're like, okay, speakers and maybe a record player, but they'll be everything. There'll be streaming devices, so all the newest technology will be available. All of what I consider to be classic. So you're going to have reel to reel, and when we're talking like reel to, it's like legit hardcore. I mean, if you can imagine it, right? It's going to be here.
Right. It really is something for everybody.
That's great. That's great.
That's new.
But there's more. And yes, there's more, right? Not only do you get the 18 knives, but you get the bottle opener. So you've got all of the exhibit rooms, right? All the different ways that you can look at stuff. You've got the Ear Gear Expo, you've got the record fair, and at the record fair you can buy stuff, right? And I think at the Ear Gear, don't they often sell stuff there as well?
Yeah,
so
they can. They can.
And then beyond that, though, they're also going to be seminars.
Right. So what
is that looking like? What's the deal there?
So the seminars, so that's education that we offer, that we put together with a lot of industry experts. We tried to do some cool things this year, some different things, but like one thing I wanted to mention is we have a seminar that's it's Saturday morning, kind of thinking if you're coming to the show for the first time, you're probably picking Saturday, and it's where to begin. Like if you're just starting out in audio, like this is kind of giving you that, how to start without breaking the bank, and giving you kind of like a little bit of a roadmap for while you're walking around the show. So that's going to be really cool. We also have a session that's highlighting a lot of highlighting speaker design. And so it features, for like premier speaker designers, we've got Andrew Jones, who we already talked about.
I'm really excited about this one. I got to see this one.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really good. We've got Stephen Norbert from Prana Fidelity, and then also PS Audio's on there, and Vanderstein Audio. So it's going to be really cool. They're going to talk about that whole balance of the art of designing a loudspeaker.
Nice. And you'll have events running every day for seminars, right?
Yeah, so we have seminars Friday and Saturday, and then we have another theater, like another education area, which is in our Expo Hall, and we call that the Masterclass Theater, and that one's open all 3 days. And that one,
Gotcha.
you know, a lot of exhibitors are, you know, at that time they're kind of taking on that thought leadership and presenting a topic that's like near and dear to their heart, or highlighting, you know, highlighting a new product. We actually have, you know, we're going to have like some book signings in there this year, but that runs all 3 days.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, now if that wasn't enough, there's still even more, right? So on, I think it's Friday night and Saturday night, you also have a musical event, right?
Right. So after kind of like a full day of listening to audio reproduction, we bring in live music. So Friday night, we've announced our Friday night concert. It's Ambasone. So she'll be performing with a trio, doing some standards, some new songs. And Saturday is yet to be announced. So that one I'm going to be announcing very, very soon.
Oh, so what I heard is I'm still in the running.
Yes,
That's
would you like
that
to? Yeah.
that's what I heard, because
Yeah.
I have an excellent 3.5 hour yodeling set
Oh.
that, I mean, it brings all the boys to the yard. I mean, my yodeling is absolutely
Or if you do that, I'm bringing my harmonica.
ooh, yodel Monica.
Yeah, yeah. We'll clear the
We'll clear out the joint. People are like, it's time to
right,
sleep.
exactly.
And speaking of sleeping, can people book rooms at the venue itself? There's still space there, right? Or
There's not still space at the Renaissance, but we have blocks of rooms in areas, you know, at hotels very nearby, like just a few miles away. We use
gotcha.
so much of the hotel for the show that really barely anyone can stay there.
And the Hyatt has a shuttle.
Oh, that's nice. Man, this is like I mean, there's more and more and more. And more. So this is, you know, if folks are thinking about this, this is not a small show. This is a absolute beast of an event. And, you know, if you're going to be there, or rather, if you're going to go to a show in the United States, you got to consider this one, because this is massive. Absolutely crazy. I love it. All right.
Right.
I think as we start to wind this down, a couple of more topics that I want to touch on. And one is, if folks want tickets, what's the right way for people to get everything signed up and ready to rock and roll, so they're ready to go to the show? Where do they buy those at?
So you can buy tickets at Axpona.com, AXPONA.com. Click buy tickets. And it's really just like buying tickets for a concert or a movie, and you can buy them in advance. And that makes the process when you show up at the show a lot easier. You can also buy them on site, but they're more expensive at the door. So take my advice and buy them in advance.
Right on. And you know, one of my good buddies, Elon Osborne, he does a lot of YouTube stuff like I do. He is a huge yodeling aficionado, and but he likes to pair that with some of the higher end home theater kind of technology. So he's interested in yodeling and Atmos. So Elon, I'm going to make it happen for you, buddy. You got to come to the show.
Giles, were you serious about yodeling? I mean, really? Do you yodel?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you to do so. Okay.
There are lots of things I'm serious about, but that is not one of them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I absolutely appreciate that I was able to put that forth in a way that almost was convincing to people. Like,
yeah, it was.
Somebody's out there, they're like,
I really wanted. I think the audience would have wanted to hear it. So I'm glad we put that to rest.
I do lots of things, but
yeah. I just want to say one other thing that doesn't always get mentioned in, you know, because we always, you know, focus on the products and things like that, which is really great. It's the main event. But I got to tell you that what really is great about our event is that people get to see each other. And people get to network with each other and have arguments over the best recordings and cuts. And in different languages in the elevators. I just like it really is unbelievable. You know, like, you know, you're hearing people with accents because they're coming from different countries and just arguing about what's the best room, and you know, and it's really great because it's like-minded music lovers that this is their passion. And this is their affliction. They just love this, you know, high resolution audio. So it's really great that people can get together. from a
Yeah,
human level.
it is really cool. And this is an international show, and you're going to have companies from all parts of the world, right? And then attendees from all different parts of the world. And you're right, it is great to feel like you're part of this larger community. And then I've learned so much stuff from folks that if I had not been attending a show, I would never have had the opportunity to meet and speak with. And I met this one guy from Japan, and he was probably the most hardcore vinyl person that I've ever met. And he knew everything about everything, and just it's like a master class, just talking to that guy for 10 minutes and just listening and kind of soaking up the information. So you'll have those opportunities, because there's a bar and a restaurant there in the hotel, and people hang out. There's common areas, and you'll be sitting in a room, and somebody will sit down beside you, and you'll listen, and you'll say, oh, I like that, and they'll say, this is great, and if you like this one, I was just down in room 342, and you got to check that one out, because it's like this but different this way. So yeah, that community is exceptional. And speaking of communities and tickets and building communities, Liz and Mark have a wonderful gift for some lucky listeners and viewers out there, right, Liz?
Right. So we're
Yeah.
going to give away 5 pairs of 3-day tickets to some of our viewers. And I guess, Jiles, do you want to kind of explain?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So if you want to pick up a pair of tickets, potentially, just drop down in the comments below why you want to come to Axpona, why that's interesting to you. And in about a week, so next Friday, I'll randomize all the people that have commented, and we'll pick 5 lucky winners, and I will reach out and contact you and figure out how to get in contact, and we'll get you set up with a pair of tickets each. So just drop something down in the comments of why you want to go, what it means to you, and we'll have some lucky folks that get a chance to attend Axpona for the lower price of no ticket cost. That's exciting. So Liz and Mark, thank you for those. That's very much appreciated. I guess in closing, any other comments that you guys have for folks that are looking to come to the show, maybe for the first time?
Well, I got something.
The
industry, the trade part of the industry are really looking to have meetings between manufacturers and distributors and dealers, and we're setting up forums. We've made a soft announcement about that, but we're going to be amplifying the business to business, the trade aspect of that's so important to people at Axpona. And so people who are interested in that should keep their stay tuned. There'll be more to say about that.
That's outstanding. And I don't want to blow the show up and make it too big, but just for everybody out there that's watching, I will be there. So if you want to say hi, just look for me. I'll be wandering the halls with a camera, starstruck. And I recognize that this might overcrowd the venue and the show, but I apologize.
Well, you'll not be yodeling. That's the least we can expect that.
Yeah, it would be all over if it was yodeling. We'd have to go get 100,000 seat stadium for that one. All right.
Okay.
Liz, Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. And for everybody else out there, thank you so much for watching. Remember, like and subscribe and do all those kinds of things. And make sure to show back up next week and take a look and see if you're one of our lucky winners. So everybody out there, see you in the next one.
See you at Axpona.
Thank you.